Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company this afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon routine. Now, you all know the drill. It's Friday. And every Friday, we treat this as an open line show, TGIF, where you get an opportunity to participate in the show as a co-host. In other words, whatever you want to talk about today, that's what we're going to talk about. And so right at the outset, let me throw out the ways that you can become a part of the show. And that is by giving out our telephone numbers, 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272. WhatsApp line is 801-0271, 801-0271. And on WhatsApp, you can either call or text. And Jason, I need you to get that WhatsApp line for me, please. And you can also catch us on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm or Global 99.5 FM Facebook page. We are also streaming live on YouTube. And last but by no means least, you can get us on either Cable Bahamas Channel 974 or by radio Global 99.5 FM. So that's how we're going to get it. And let's dive right in. Before we dive into the heavy issues, because we got some heavy issues to discuss this week. Plenty heavy issues. I want to break the ice a little bit. A joke I just heard I thought was pretty funny. So these three girlfriends die and make it to the other side. And they get to heaven, but St. Peter says, well, we're going to let you guys in, but because you did have some past sins, we have to, make you pay a little bit. So here's the thing. There are lots and lots of ducks here in heaven. So if you step on a duck, then we're going to have to chain you forever to the ugliest man you've ever seen. So they figure that's a pretty easy thing to do. So they enter heaven and they start walking around. They realize there are ducks everywhere. So the first girlfriend steps on a duck, and wouldn't you know it, they bring the ugliest man she's ever seen in her entire life and chains her to this ugly man for all eternity. So the two girlfriends were like, oh my God. So the next day, second girlfriend, wouldn't you know it, as much as she tried, steps on a duck. And they bring an even uglier man to chain her to for all eternity. So the third girlfriend says, now, I cannot face the idea of having to be chained to such an ugly man for all eternity. So I'm going to be very careful not to step on any ducks. So she makes it through the day. She doesn't step on a duck. So the next day, they bring the handsomest man she's ever seen in her entire life. And they say, we have to chain you two together for all eternity. So she's really happy. She's like, wow, this is great. So they chain her with this gorgeous man. So as they're walking together, she says to the gentleman, well, what did you do to deserve such an honor? And what did I do to deserve such an honor? And so the man says, well, yesterday I stepped on a duck. I thought that was pretty funny. Because clearly she didn't realize that she was one of the ugliest women that he had ever seen. My producer's shaking his head. So the moral of the story is, do not think of yourself higher than you ought. I thought it was pretty funny. I don't know how you feel about it, but I thought it was a pretty good joke. All right, so let's get serious now. We have quite a bit to discuss, and again, this is not just going to be about what I want to talk about, although I have prepared and pulled some clips to talk about some issues. But you guys are serving as my co-host, so you get to help to direct the show today. So we had a lot of big stories this past week. A lot of big stories. Perhaps one of the biggest, if not the biggest, was this Privy Council ruling as it relates to citizenship in the Bahamas. In case you're living under a rock and you have no idea what I'm talking about, here now is a report. I'm going to play a clip from one of our local news agencies about this Privy Council ruling. Here we go.
The Privy Council has ruled that all children born out of wedlock to foreign women and Bahamian men are citizens at birth. The ruling comes as many have been plagued with having to apply at the age of 18 and in some instances wait decades to obtain citizenship. The Privy Council upheld the decision of the Court of Appeal, which upheld an earlier decision of now Chief Justice Sir Ian Winder, whose ruling was also supported by the Court of Appeal. One legal insider saying it shows the competence of Bahamian judges and their ability to properly ventilate legal issues. Meantime, in a statement, Prime Minister Philip Davis expressing support and committing to ensuring the country's laws and policies are fair and just for all. He says, the Privy Council decision marks an important step towards ensuring equal citizenship rights for all children, irrespective of their parents' marital status. It is expected to impact the lives of many individuals in our nation positively. Meanwhile, Attorney General Ryan Pinder releasing a statement of his own saying the Attorney General's office will work diligently to ensure the implementation of the Privy Council decision and to review the existing citizenship legislation in light of this new development. Attorney Bijan Ferguson telling our news that following the ruling, lawmakers should treat matters like this with urgency.
Constitutional issues should be given priority, and treated with urgency. That would be my response. Any constitutional issue should be treated with a great sense of urgency.
Following the landmark ruling, residents took to social media. This resident says, rightfully so, about time they start getting stuff right.
Okay, so in essence, what has happened is after years of legal wrangling back and forth, the Privy Council has made a determination of what they believe the Constitution of the Bahamas is saying as it relates to this particular issue, that Bahamian men who have children out of wedlock with foreign women, their children are automatically citizens of the Bahamas and don't have to wait until their 18th birthday to apply for citizenship. This has a lot of implications, as you can well imagine. And we're going to get to that, but we have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
God bless you. Good afternoon, Michelle.
Hey, JD.
I would like to touch on that matter with you briefly, although I called about something else. Just repeat the key point. It says that the ruling says that children born to
If you're a Bahamian man,
right,
not married, and you had a child with a foreign woman,
right,
then that child is automatically entitled. Right,
Bahamian
citizenship.
citizen. Got it.
Yeah.
And that was only the part of the ruling that was made. What about women who have children out of wedlock? Bahamian women.
They never had an issue. It's married Bahamian women who are married to a foreigner who have an issue.
Got it. That is true. That is true. Okay, got it. Yeah, that clarification helps because I support the ruling as well at face value that a child born to a Bahamian male out of marriage ought to be a citizen of the country. It's just that, and that is to a Bahamian male.
A Bahamian male.
Yeah,
Yes.
not to a non-Bahamian male.
No, this is strictly Bahamian male.
Yeah. Yeah, that, because, and what I'm about to say next before I move on, I don't know if this is, well, I suppose it may be statutory law, but I was made to understand, somebody told me some years ago that in some law of ours, an antiquated law at that, I would say, that a man out of wedlock, by law, is required to take care of his children that are born out of wedlock, but by law, he is not recognized as the father of that child out of wedlock. Now, if anybody else in the listening audience would have heard about that or know of it, I'd appreciate them calling in and making reference to it because I couldn't find it. I don't know where to look for it. But if that is true, that is something else that also has to be fixed. You know what I mean? Because, I have a daughter out of wedlock, a child out of wedlock, just one child I have. Didn't plan on it, but, she's here, and I love it like crazy. And many men in my position find themselves going through hell with Bahamian women when they have children out of wedlock because of what that law either says or many people understand that law to say that I just made reference to. That it gives the mother all of the right or the majority of the say in the child's life when it's out of wedlock. And so for me, I'm happy to see that practicality and reason is being brought to that situation that it was just ruled on by the Privy Council. That makes sense to me. Yeah. What I wanted to speak to you about, Michelle, is Crown Land. I am a very frustrated Bahamian today in regards to Crown Land. In 2004, I was privileged to have made application for a piece of Crown Land and was granted a piece in Andros. And with the kind gift of a dear friend, I was able to pay in full the entire amount, April 16th, 2004. From then to now, well, let me not go there yet. In 2021, December of 2021, I was privileged to finally get my Crown grant that was signed off on in a matter of months by the Davis administration. Prime Minister Davis's signature is on it. So from 2004 to 2021, I was in limbo. Couldn't do anything with the Crown grant, with the land, couldn't go on it, couldn't do nothing at all. And I know many other Bahamians are in that very same position. Now the situation I'm finding myself in is this. Now that I have the Crown grant in my possession, I still can't do anything with or on my property for one simple unfortunate reason. And that is that when the road was repaved down in Andros, Queens Highway, the contractor destroyed the front boundaries of mine and many other pieces of property on the road front down in that area. This all happened before I was granted my Crown grant. Okay? That situation, those boundaries were placed down obviously for obvious reasons to show anybody that this is the boundary marker. I don't understand how come a contractor could have gone down there, done the work, not made sure of the boundaries of those roadside properties before they did their work, because it seems to me they didn't check. Now I'm in a situation now where Lands and Surveys has to go down there again and resurvey those properties all over again because of the mess that the contractor made to the properties. And I'm made to understand that Lands and Surveys is extremely understaffed, Michelle. So it puts me and other Bahamians in this same situation in a serious quandary. We want to, need to, care to use the gift that God has blessed us with called land ownership. But for one reason after another, the typical Bahamian is finding him or herself in a situation like this. What can we do about this? Michelle, any idea?
No, I don't have any idea. So I don't know. I suggest that there should be some kind of legal recourse. If you have to go that direction, then go that direction. But you know, I don't know what to tell you.
There's a new acting director now. I can't remember his full name properly. I think it's Lovato. But Duncanson is his last name. He's been very responsive so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be writing him in short order. He is the new director at Lands and Surveys on East Bay.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that concerns me, man, Michelle, I made to understand that they do not even have adequate staff down there at that department. They need staff. They need surveyors. They need people to be able to make that department function the way it is supposed to function.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that right now is one of the serious issues that that department is now dealing with. The lack of surveyors in that department. How in heaven's name can we function in a country that is operating like this, Michelle? I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
now that it's been, brought attention to, maybe somebody will deal with it. But I'm getting a lot of comments about the ruling, though, JT. So
I'll let it. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a hot button topic to this. I'll hang up and listen.
All right, thanks for calling. Okay, let's get back to this ruling. I'm getting a lot of comments. Lloyd says, plenty Haitian man in this country got Bahamian last name from the graveyard and through deeds. Rose says, you all think we overpopulated now. Wait until half Haitian apply for their papers because plenty of our men slept with them outsiders. So pack your suitcase because ain't gonna be no Romanian. Well, there will be implications. Because especially if this is treated as retroactive, in other words, this ruling now applies to persons who fell into this category all the way back to 1973, there will definitely be some implications. So we have another call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Malcolm.
Yes.
I want to touch on an Auckland. For 2 weeks, they had gasoline. They have diesel. No gasoline in Auckland. Lights off. I don't know what's going on in Auckland. They have one man of the contract to bring the gasoline up there. We need to spread this well, dog. Give license to people that can afford to store gasoline. We don't need people have to park their car and have to walk to work in Auckland. They cannot forget Auckland, believe that Auckland is like someplace else, and they just, just say Auckland.
So is this a supply issue or a transportation issue?
Is this you mean with the gasoline?
Yeah.
The person who have the franchise for they They ain't bring the gas in.
So it's not a
Supply,
matter
supply.
of them not having access to it, just they can't afford it. That's what you're saying?
They could afford it because they was on eyewitness news and said this person, I don't want to call up the person name, and say that because he have the franchise to supply the gas, when he don't open up or whatever, then that's it.
Hmm.
So, we have to, when it ain't the fire engine on these family islands, we get these little petty things. We should be up to par with these things. The next point is with the road. We in the month of May. And we know May always have a lot of rain and stuff. These potholes and things like that, where's the minister? Where's the permanent secretary? You mean nobody could call nobody and say, listen here, we're going to be on these roads that take from morning to night on Sunday, where you can shut down some lane. It's Malcolm, it's like this scene making no sense.
But I hate to break it to you, but that ain't only a problem in Acklands.
Beg about it?
I hate to break it to you, but that ain't only a problem on the island of which you speak. That's a huge problem here in Nassau as well. The potholes.
I talking about Nassau.
Oh, okay.
I talking about the pothole, the road.
Okay.
Because you take on East Street South and them other place. I mean, the road is so bad,
Mm-hmm.
and you can imagine you driving, trying to come to work, and you missing dropping one of them hole inside. You think all you're going through is water and stuff like that. Sometimes you can't believe that this little small island, we cannot get this right. They say they can handle it. They can fix this problem, a little problem like pothole, you can't get straight. You hear the cries of the people for months, for weeks. The last point is, in some cases, I agree with Dr. Donnie Johnson with this. The Bahamian going over these to the two big large casino. But they should put that on hold for right now. Don't, if they won't give the franchise license to a Bahamian to open up another casino or someplace, yeah. But they can tell everything can slow down with all of this, these younger people, not that we don't know how to behave ourselves when we go out, but for right up and now, with all this gang and stuff going on, just put that on hold. Don't even come up with that here. Leave that for way down to road, stuff like that, and then see how it go from there, and then we could deal with that. Thank you, Ms. Malcolm.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. It'll be interesting to see who those licenses will go to. I dare say that'll probably be. Anyway, I ain't going there. We have a call, especially because we have another caller waiting on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, this ruling in reference to Bahamian fathers.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because I want to know exactly, like as far as all of the details in reference to if it's going to be automatic, if it's going to be definitely with a DNA, result when you go to, sign off on for these children.
Right.
And because I saw on, I think it's on social media where a gentleman, he sent a video speaking about his, I think he lives stateside because he had the situation with his, mother being a foreigner and the father.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right, he wants to come home. It's going to be interesting as to the details.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to ask if any experts are listening or whatever, if this goes to a referendum, or if we just go based on that.
Well, that's one of the things I want to ask Professor on Monday, because
right.
From what I am understanding, they are not suggesting that there needs to be a change in the Constitution, but what they're suggesting is that the interpretation of the existing Constitution for all of these years was wrong, and that the right interpretation is that these children born to Bahamian men and foreign women were entitled all along under the existing constitution. So this is a question I think we need to raise with the professor.
Yeah, because that itself, that is such a deep, mind you, it's a good thing for a lot of Bahamian men.
And their children.
And their children, and the main thing, it always is about the child, and with them, not being able to have the same rights as if a Bahamian woman has, the mother has a child for a foreign man, which is, automatic.
If she's single, yes.
Right, single mother.
Right.
But there too lies another step, because if this goes goes forward and whatever, it's going to open. And the thing is, what about married Bahamian women? That's another step to really actually level the playing field and to give to have a sense of fairness across the board when it comes to all children.
I don't know why they didn't just do both at the same time.
Exactly. So I'm wondering, and like I said, I'll wait for Mr. Thompson to come on too to ask him to go. Is there, and I'm sure it's going to happen, Michelle. There are going to be persons who are going to the courts, and they're going to, however they do it, they're going to be represented. You're going to have them go like a marriage, just say a married Bahamian woman who's married to a foreigner, who have, they have children.
I think they're saying that particular article is entrenched. I prefer that we wait for the professor. For him to clarify this for us, because
but we definitely need that DNA. But you need a DNA with the men, because the woman, she's the mother. She carries the child, so she's the mother. But the father, you're gonna need that DNA, because you can go to justice of the peace to sign. For the affidavits when you apply for birth certificates now, with the mothers, with the children, with the babies. So I guess this is it might sound like it's a groundbreaking ruling, and it has so many implications, and that's why we need more. I need more education about exactly what how we sort of.
Yeah, you're breaking up there. You're breaking up. So I appreciate you calling. We're going to take a break, and then we come back on the other side of the break. We're going to look at those implications that you mentioned. One of the news agencies interviewed Brent Simonet on the matter, and he sort of broke down what he thought some of the implications of the ruling could be. So we'll look at that on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paint, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Weston, Lux, fuel, track life, tough, rough racing, velocity, mud, all-terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Less is love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Youngevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company on this TGIF Open Line show. If you haven't already done so, go check out the guys at Tiki Bikini Hut, where you're going to get some amazing food, great family-friendly atmosphere, and they're going to treat you like the celebrity that you are. Make sure you let them know that you heard about them on GPS, and you'll get a sweet deal on your meal. All right, so Open Line Show, we want to hear from you. Telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. WhatsApp line 8010271, 8010271 for WhatsApp calls and texts. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM Facebook pages, and also on YouTube on our official channels. Check us out on Cable Bahamas channel 974, and on your radio dial, we are on 99.5 FM Global Radio. Okay, we're going to continue now with our Open Line Show. Implications of the Privy Council ruling. There will be some implications. This is what Brent Simonette had to say with regard to that.
So I think it's a positive day.
Former Immigration Minister Brent Simonette welcoming the ruling handed down by the Privy Council. Simonette suggesting tonight that the ruling can open the floodgates to some serious implications.
The man is the father, and then how do we process that application? Because, and I'm going to go into an area which probably is not comfortable for some people. We have to look at who will be applying for citizenship under this new provision. And I would hazard a guess that it's going to be a weighted average towards certain nationalities.
Up until this point, the Constitution stated that a person can apply for citizenship at the age of 18.
I'm not sure how you deal with cases 20 years ago who have been declined citizenship and possibly given permanent residency with the right to work. Or, I mean, are they all going to be opened back up? And there'll be thousands of cases. So we can expect a backlog.
With the handing down of this critical ruling that support the verdict of the Court of Appeal of then Supreme Court Justice and now Chief Justice Sir Ian Winder, the former minister says that the decision is long overdue.
We haven't revamped the Immigration Act since about 1973. Well, they've been minor. But so basically it's time for a total overhaul in that. We've had a number of issues outstanding with regard to citizenship. I think this one is one step forward.
So where does this leave Bahamian women who are married to foreign men who are unable to pass their citizenship on to their children? Simonet, who also served as the Attorney General, says that the ruling is a slap in the face for married Bahamian women. The country has had 2 failed referendums on this vexing issue.
To change the immigration, the Nationality Act, you require 2/3 of the vote. It's what they call an entrenched provision in the Constitution. You had to go that route. Now, I mentioned earlier, the minister has the right discretion to give citizenship.
So, because it's entrenched, the only way that this same privilege can be given to married Bahamian women who are married to someone other than a Bahamian man is if you go through referendum. That's been tried twice. It's failed twice because of the ridiculous notion that the political parties have pushed that make the majority of Bahamians believe that it is tied to politics. So in other words, if the PLP bring in an I'm an F&M, I vote no, even though I might be married to a foreign man and have children. I still vote no because the PLP brought it, and vice versa. If the F&M bring it and I'm a PLP, I can vote no. And, you know, a lot of it has to do with the intentional, I believe, confusion surrounding this. Why do I believe it's intentional? Well, I'll let Allison Maynard Gibson respond to that. In this clip, she is suggesting that this is yet another example of all-out discrimination against women. So let's listen to what she had to say.
Following that landmark ruling from the Privy Council, former Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson says the recent ruling emphasizes ongoing discrimination against women. That much, she says, is clear.
Bahamian women today, as I've said before, are suffering, and their families are suffering because it's not possible to pass, for her, a married Bahamian woman, to pass her citizenship.
The landmark ruling by the Privy Council upheld the decision by now Chief Justice Sir Ian Winder that all children born out of wedlock to foreign women and Bahamian men are citizens at birth. Maynard Gibson says she's hopeful the government will move to address the issue from a legislative standpoint. She says the recent ruling sends a strong signal that shouldn't be ignored.
What's left now is discrimination against married Bahamian women. So whilst that might have been appropriate, some people argue, back in 73, certainly in today's world, I think that very few countries are in the category that we are in. We are in the minority.
Now, Maynard Gibson is urging the government to pass legislation that not only addresses this matter, but allows Bahamian women to pass on their citizenship as well.
I'm very optimistic, very hopeful that the government will move, as it said it would, to address this issue as a matter of urgency.
Maynard Gibson says the government has to carefully weigh how that will be implemented. She's hoping the rights of Bahamian women aren't caught up and, as a result, hindered.
All right. So what are your thoughts on this? You know, I know people who were caught up in this whole situation of Bahamian man having children with a woman other than a Bahamian who couldn't pass their citizenship on to their children. And some of them had to go to the extreme of adopting their own children to try to get citizenship by that route for their children. So I'd love to hear from you guys on this particular topic. What are your thoughts? I don't think that you will find too many people, particularly Bahamian men who are caught in this position, who will disagree with the ruling. But let's talk about the implications of this. Brent Simonet would have mentioned a couple of them in the clip that we played with him. Do we go all the way back to 1973? And do we now make people citizens retroactively? That's question number one. Question number two, How is this going to be managed? Will you have to come with some kind of DNA evidence to prove, which didn't exist when the Constitution was written, but at least now you have easy ways of proving whether or not you are indeed the father of a particular child. So are you going to come with some kind of DNA evidence requirements attached to this to say you can't just come and say on paper that these children are yours, but you have to prove that? That's question number 2. Question number 3, will this increase the frequency of a practice that is known as anchor babies, where women of foreign nationality will do whatever they need to do to get pregnant by a Bahamian man so that that child could gain status as a citizen of the Bahamas automatically, which would then help them in their efforts to remain in the Bahamas? Those are just 3 of the questions that come up as a result of this ruling. I'd love to hear from you guys. Again, the telephone numbers to call are 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272, and the WhatsApp line for text messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. Are you concerned that this ruling is going to open a Pandora's box in the country that we really are not prepared to deal with? Like I said, I know some Bahamian men who would argue differently. C. Alan Johnson is one of them. His kids were born to women who were not Bahamian. His first child, I believe, was for somebody from a foreign country. And so he was caught up in this whole thing about not being able to pass on citizenship to his children or to that particular child. So I know that there's some men who are legit fathers who want to be, who are active in their children's lives or whatever, legitimately fathers of children born to foreign women who are rejoicing over this ruling because now their children can take on their citizenship. But there's some skullduggery as well. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, good afternoon, Empress. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Okay, what they did was just made it legal because, as of now, the foreigners are just paying off and then anybody can sign for the child, because I've seen it happen that one guy got $1,000. He went to the place, signed for the child, and the child is a Haitian, and the daddy is a Haitian, and the mommy is a Haitian. So how do that child get a Bahamian? So what I'm trying to say, how you going to prove that that's the daddy?
Well, nowadays, like I said, what didn't exist back in 1973 certainly exists today. There should be some kind of stipulation where you have to have proof, meaning DNA evidence.
By all means. Now, what happened? It was illegal. Now they made it legal. You can just pay somebody, go sign for the child, and the child becomes a Bahamian.
Which is why, again, we need to ensure that we put protocols in place that protect against that.
How they're going to go about it? Is the daddy have to take a DNA or some kind of situation to prove that he's the father?
I don't think that's been revealed as yet, or even if they have thought through that as yet. But because remember now, the ruling just came down, so now they have to figure out how they can deal with all this.
We have the shanty town to deal with, so now we're getting the legal privilege to go loose. So what's happening in the Bahamas?
Well,
we can't put the people of the shanty town. Now you're giving the foreigners permission to be Bahamians.
Well, can you argue that they're foreigners if their fathers are Bahamian?
If the daddy is a foreigner and they're registered from 73, how could he become a Bahamian?
No, you're confusing some things here. My point is this. This ruling applies to a Bahamian man. Bahamian man. Okay?
I'm a listener.
Prior to this ruling, a Bahamian man could have a child with a woman who was not Bahamian, but was unable to pass on his citizenship to his child because he and the mother weren't married.
So what happened is if the woman is a Bahamian and the man is foreigner.
This has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with that. This ruling specifically speaks to the issue of a Bahamian man having a child out of wedlock with a foreign woman. That's all this speaks to.
Okay, thank you very much, Mom. I think I understand it.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with a Bahamian woman having children or in any which kind of way. This is
so
strictly
a Bahamian
to
man
do.
could go and have children with a foreign woman,
right?
And the child become a Bahamian.
Right. If the problem before was if they weren't married, if he wasn't married to the mother of that child, then even though the child is his, he couldn't pass on citizenship if he wasn't married to the foreign woman.
Lord, I wish the Linda Penley was still living to listen to this.
But again, I think that to answer the questions that you're asking, they need to put some stipulations in place to say, okay, this is the ruling, this is the interpretation. Now you got to prove that you are the father of this child, not just by signing for the child, because anybody could go sign a piece of paper.
But what I'm saying is, they bring up the ruling like that, they should also include that the father has to be proven by whatever and to be the father of that child.
I haven't had a chance to read through the entire ruling as yet. I don't think that it addresses that, but it may. I don't think so. But again, I haven't had a chance to read through the whole ruling as yet.
Well, anyhow.
But the bottom line is, the ruling is that as a single man who impregnates, a single Bahamian man who impregnates a woman who is not Bahamian while he's not married to her, his children are now automatically citizens of the Bahamas.
Now, that's baloney, right?
Well, if you're a Bahamian man, it ain't baloney to you. If you love your children and you can't pass on your citizenship to your children, it ain't baloney to you.
Well, then as a foreigner, I can get a Bahamian citizenship. Because I remember now they're giving them out.
So your concern is that somebody who is not entitled to become a citizen, a man, will become a citizen and then utilize this ruling in his favor.
That's all in the plan.
Well,
that's all in the plan.
Yeah, it may be.
Because I'm not going to take the second base.
I don't think the ruling says. I don't think the ruling, and again, I have to read through the whole thing, but I don't think the ruling applies to whether or not you are a naturalized Bahamian or otherwise. So I really have to read through the ruling to see what that says as it relates to that.
My foreign children can also get citizenship or apply at the age of 18, correct?
You mean under this new ruling?
Yes.
Only when you say a foreign children, what do you mean?
Foreign children, non-Bahamian.
What do you mean by that?
As a Bahamian, I can have children with a foreign woman, and at the age of 18, they become a citizen, correct?
This ruling is saying they are citizens at birth.
At birth?
Yes.
But then they still have to apply? Read through it. I can listen.
I think it says they are automatically citizens at birth. That's my understanding. I would have to read through it again just to be sure.
Read through it, okay?
All right.
Okay.
Well, I think the whole point is that they are automatically citizens now if they are born to a foreign woman and a Bahamian man who are not married. That the child automatically can take on the citizenship of their father, is automatically a citizen of the Bahamas. I believe that is what the ruling says. I have it on my phone. It's several pages long, so it's not something that I would have to study it some more. And I think we definitely will probably go into this deeper when the professor is sitting in the seat on Monday. But my understanding is, based on this ruling, that child is automatically a citizen at birth if their father is a Bahamian. And if their father was single at the time that the child was born to a foreign mother. That is my understanding of this bill, of this ruling. Dale is asking, where's the professor? Professor is on Mondays. We have a caller. Caller, welcome to GPS. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi,
Hi.
Michelle.
Yes.
Thank you for taking my call, first of all. I have no problem with it as long as everything is in black and white so that we know that everything everyone is doing is right. And they need to take a look at females as well.
Agreed.
Because women also have children that are out there by foreigners just as well. Bahamian women, that is. And we cannot say that because they're not married.
No.
It'll be discrimination.
No. Single Bahamian women who have children for foreign men, they don't have an issue with this. Their children they're able to pass on their citizenship to their children. It is the married Bahamian woman who is married to a foreign man who has a problem.
And I agree with them. And I think they should be passed, their citizenship should be able to be passed on to their kids.
Right.
Now, with that being said, because what about the Bahamian women that are involved with these Bahamian men and they don't sign these birth certificates? They're carrying the mother's name. Then what? What status do that child carry?
Say that again?
Say that there is a Bahamian female woman. She has a child with a Bahamian male, but this Bahamian male doesn't sign the birth certificate because, you do have some fathers that do not sign.
Well, the child is, if she's not married to him, the child is automatically Bahamian because the child takes on her citizenship. That's not a problem for single Bahamian women. The problem only exists for married Bahamian women who are married to a foreign man. So whether or not he signs for a child with a single Bahamian woman, that doesn't matter. The child still takes on her citizenship.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. This is such, just know that this is going to open up a lot of questions as it relates to this ruling. Yeah, we are definitely going to need to clarify this because bottom line is the Privy Council isn't saying that we should change the Constitution. What they are doing is offering their interpretation of the Constitution as it exists. And what they're saying is that for all of these years, the interpretation of the Constitution as it exists was wrong. And that the correct interpretation is that a Bahamian man should be able to pass on his citizenship at birth, regardless of whether or not that child is born to a foreign woman. We're talking about single Bahamian men. So they're not talking about changing the Constitution. They're just providing an interpretation that has gone against what has been practiced for so many years here in the Bahamas. That's what's happening here. Let's take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to continue with our open line show. We'll be back after these are some sponsors.
Global paradigm shift will return after
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company. The numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. WhatsApp line is 8010271, 8010271. And we are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. Make sure you like and share the show. We're also streaming live on our YouTube channels, channel 974 in Cable Bahamas, and you can catch us on radio at Global 99.5 FM. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Malcolm.
Yes, sir.
Just want to ask you this quick question. What if a married man, he married a Bahamian woman, but he's married and he have a child outside the married to he have a child outside with a foreign woman. So both of them try to keep this on a down low. Now under this law, he still can tell his wife that he have a child now. So what happened now to this child and this foreign woman?
I am not sure because this ruling only applies to single Bahamian men, from what I understand, who had a child with a foreign woman, not married to that woman. Now, I don't know how this applies as it relates if I'm married to a Bahamian woman and I have an outside child, whether or not that outside child with a foreign woman is automatic. I am not sure. I think I'm not sure. I don't want to give you wrong information.
Okay.
So I would again have to do more research on that to find out what the
Because
exact ruling would be there.
If this is under the same law
Mhm.
and this foreign woman child automatically get a citizenship also, well, I guess she must be somebody can come out the closet and have to say something.
Mhm.
Because if she want a child to be a natural Bahamian, then she can say, well, the married man, that can mess up his family. You see what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So I don't know. This can open up a lot of can of worms. So we'll have to see what is what. Then thank you.
Thank you for calling. Again, I'm not sure how or if this ruling would relate to that. From what I know, this ruling specifically deals with single Bahamian men who couldn't pass on their citizenship to their children simply because their children were born to foreign women. Whether or not this applies to outside children born to foreign women, I do not know. I think we would have to get somebody in here who could clarify that for us. That's a good question, though. Um, so yeah, that's a very good question. Okay, so Marissa's asking, so what happens when a single Bahamian man has a child with a female illegal immigrant, or is that exactly the point of this ruling? Well, I don't think it matters if she's legal or illegal. The point is, if you have a child with a woman who ain't Bahamian, the child is automatically citizen of the Bahamas, automatically Bahamian. By way of him being a Bahamian, he can pass on his citizenship to the child. And the ruling of the Privy Council is that the child is a Bahamian at birth. So in other words, he ain't got to wait till he's 18 and apply and all this kind of stuff. At birth, because the child's father is Bahamian, the child is Bahamian. Stanley says DNA test needed for every child born to wedlock in the Bahamas because they trying everything to give I guess you meant to say our country to those people. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Michelle,
Yes.
I think what we really need to do, I think we really need to wait and see
Mm-hmm.
what all of this is going to entail, because for right now, we're really playing a guessing game.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do come out with it, they need to make it clear for everyone to understand.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be playing around with lies like this, because this can open the door to plenty things.
Yeah.
So we have to be very specific and wait until everything comes out. And like you say, let's see what happens on Masterclass on Monday to see what's going to be said and done.
Right.
How does this fit into the Constitution?
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling. The thing is, at the end of the day, this is still so very fresh because the ruling literally just happened. So we have to now figure out how this is going to be managed. And there are a lot of questions to be raised in that process. Will this be retroactive? Will this impact the lives of thousands of people who have been disenfranchised by the way it was being interpreted for all of these years? If so, how are they going to facilitate all of those requests? What is going to be required to prove that you are in fact the father, or to prove that who you believe is your father is your father? Because some men may be deceased by now. So how you, as a child, you would have to now bring proof that this deceased man was your father, and that would cause you to be automatically entitled. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi, good day, Michelle.
Hi.
Hi, I just feel like, I don't know, for some reason it feels as if there's some person of, let's just say of a different nationality that's in high places that are finding all of the loopholes to get what they want. Because this thing seems very crafty. I don't know. It can be beneficial to the legitimate person, but for those that are not, it gives them a lot of benefit. Thank you. That's my take.
Thanks for calling. I mean, there's definitely room for skullduggery. This is why we have to be. Boy, let's go. But this a Pandora's box right here, because whereas you have people who legitimately are impacted by this and have been crying out for this for a long time, you do have some people who are unscrupulous. You do. So, you got some fellas who might be into the business of selling sperm after this ruling. I wouldn't put it past some people. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there are a lot of women who would pay for that because they want to be able to put down roots in this country. So, yeah. This raises a lot of questions. So Marissa's asking, what if the mother is deported after giving birth? What happens to the baby? Baby's a Bahamian. So since he say he's deported, he better go take a child that he passing the citizenship on to. But the child is a Bahamian. Marissa says the timing of this ruling is suspect in my opinion. And she's also agreeing with the caller. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yeah, Michelle, I just wanted to respond and be quick to the question the gentleman posed in reference to a deceased Bahamian father. There was a case where a Jamaican lady had a child for the gentleman. He died, and she was able to get the grandmother, his mother, to sign off, on the documents, the affidavit, so the child would be able to get benefits,
right?
Like NIB and whatever have you. But she still wasn't able to get the citizenship because of that law in reference to a single Bahamian father
right.
Having a child with a foreign woman.
Right.
So that is dealt with, but not in reference to citizenship. You can sign a relative, like, someone, his relative.
Yes.
Can sign off an affidavit stating that he, that's what they take, not even as far as with the DNA as yet. So,
right.
That I just want to respond in that instance with the deceased father.
Thank you.
Okay.
I even in that case, I think we need to have DNA evidence. And
yes,
you can do that with a relative of the deceased
man. You can
man.
do it,
yes.
So we probably need the DNA.
Yes.
Okay, Michelle.
All right. Thank you for calling. I really think we're going to have DNA brought into the picture, because anybody could jump up and say, that's my child. Anybody. And anybody could sign for the child. And especially if you're unscrupulous and you want to make some money. So it has to be more than just, I signed for this child, so I'm the father. It got to be some kind of physical evidence tying you to that child. Otherwise, I would feel very uncomfortable with this, because this definitely could be abused. Definitely, without question, this could be abused. We have Dale that says the powers that be are purposely attempting to sabotage our little nation by any means necessary, but Bahamians are waking up. Okay, Dale. Like I said, I do know Bahamian men legitimately were negatively impacted by this. Men who love their children, and wanted to be able to pass on their children their citizenship, and was being prohibited all these years to do so because of the interpretation of our Constitution. So now with this ruling, which again, from what I understand, is not seeking to change the Constitution, but is just giving another interpretation of it that has not been the practice for all these years, those men now have some recourse to pass on their citizenship to their children. I just wish that the same consideration would finally be given to married women who are married to men who are not Bahamian. It does seem on the surface to be discrimination against women. What else is new in the Bahamas, though? What else is new? We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hi, Michelle. How you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm okay. I thank God for life. Yeah, I just wanted to chime in on the bill.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to the ruling and I was listening to the arguments. I don't know if you remember in 2020 when that case was put forth and the Privy Council sided with Chief Justice Winders ruling in the same situation, and they said that was the way the law should have been interpreted.
Right.
So this is just opening it up now, but the same thing has been proven, and I know you should have DNA though. That's the only thing, and it's not trying to sabotage. Some people I see why referendums don't work in this country. They don't study, they don't read, they don't listen, they get emotional and jump on conclusions that are not based on facts.
Well, they got a lot of assistance in doing so by the political parties.
Yeah, and you're right about that. And I wanted to say this too. What people are not realizing is, it's not that people want to be sperm prostitutes, because think about it. If you have other children and you have possession, and you ain't just take money from nobody, because that child then is joint heirs with your children.
You think some of these people care about that? You talking about people with means. I talking about people who ain't. They don't care about all of that.
Yeah.
They just like looking to make a quick buck.
Yeah, but guess what? I know of people that are not wealthy, but they have land left to them, and they look at a situation that for that quick dollar, that child could have a portion of what they have, and then you're gonna have a big fight on your hands. So it ain't just a matter of. I think it ain't gonna be as free willy as people think with that just moment doing that. And last thing I wanted to chime on the situation with Auckland, the owner of the gas station, and I don't know if it's another one. I know the one and the main one is the same person that owns the mailboat service.
No.
And, and he has that contract, but he's also with the Red Party. So I'll leave that to you like that.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Thank you so much, caller. We have another call on the line. This one, a cell phone caller. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Michelle.
Hey.
Yeah, just calling back to say something else. With this DNA, I think we need to have a system outside of the Bahamas dealing with the DNA, because there's so much corruption going on in this Bahamas. So we really cannot trust anyone when it comes to the DNA system. So I think we should have an outside entity dealing with the DNA process when it comes, if it comes into play with something like this.
Wow. That's a sad commentary, but I hear you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for calling. Very sad commentary. Okay, we have another call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good evening, Miss Malcolm, and good evening to your listeners, Papa here.
Hey, Papa.
You ain't getting nothing else?
What do you mean?
The things like we just record, only this thing with the
No. Well, this just we are talking about right now, but yeah, I have some other stuff.
It's after 3, eh?
And?
Okay, I see. So anything else before I hang up?
So you just called me to ask me if I ain't got nothing else to talk
No,
about?
I get something to say, but I really was wondering if this is a topic or you.
No, this is open line. So
yeah, because I know Monday you can talk about it again. So it sounds like when people dealing with the matter in Auckland, you know.
What you mean?
I listened to one next thing on TV last night without calling anyone else show name.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like they saying the Ministry of Transport said they're going to deal with the mailboat situation in Auckland.
Okay.
Maybe maybe get another mailboat to go over there.
So you're saying that the reason why they don't have gas is because of a mailboat situation?
No, it seems like one person dealing with everything, dealing with the gas station, dealing with the mailboat, so they must even try to take some of the power from him.
I see.
But the people feel like they're being discriminated in Auckland.
I see. Okay.
What about the MP who was questioned by the police? He's still being questioned or that over with?
I don't know if I'd say it's over with. I have no idea.
I know you might know what the news say.
I don't think the news knows that he was questioned and released. They say investigations continue. That was the last.
Whoa, wow.
That was the last we heard.
There's another case like the Minister of Transport with that police the other day when the commissioner come back and say insufficient evidence.
I can't speak to that. I have no idea. If the
That's
people
sad,
say,
no.
if
That's
they
sad.
say they
That's
still
sad, no.
investigating, then they still investigating.
Ah, Lord, only because it's a politician. If that was you or me or somebody else, they'd have been dealt with. I hear many other people being accused for rape or fighting or hitting a woman, and they being picked up since that happened. It's been over a month now.
Well, he turned himself in for the questioning.
Well, let the commissioner, maybe, or the police who in charge here, Barnaby or whoever, come to us and tell us the insufficient evidence or whatever so we can stop talking about it. As far as we concerned, it's like two laws, one law for them and one law for us.
Papa, why don't let the people finish their investigation?
Really? They need that long for you, Miss Malcolm? The woman and they talking and everything, you see what they need that long?
Well, let me put it this way. When you come with allegations of rape...
Yeah, but they don't take that long with everything.
Let me finish my point, Papa.
Go ahead, Miss Malcolm.
When you come with allegations of rape is one of the hardest things to prove, especially if time has passed. I'm not saying that it didn't happen or it did happen. I'm just saying give the police time to do their work. You can't rush them through an investigation. You don't know what all an investigation...
Mom, Miss Malcolm, it ain't me rushing. I ain't rushing them. I just sound bad. It sound bad, Mom.
Yeah, but you rather than things but done quickly because it sound bad, or you rather them do a thorough job?
I just feel like they could do a better damn job than this. If that was the average person, they would have done do a deal with them. Get off your royal button, deal with the matter.
I can't speak to that because I don't know what the investigation is.
I believe that's got the PLP in power. They dealing with any time these people in power. And I call them woman PLPs in the parliament. I believe I dream or hear Glenn say something about it. Why they ain't saying that? They always talking about man mistreating woman and doing woman. A whole woman come on TV talking about the MP do this and that. We need to vote for our commissioner of police rather than them having to answer the politicians. That's too sad, too long. Although they say insufficient evidence with the Ministry of Transport, some still feel funny about that out here. Now another politician again and they pussyfooting around. Tell them do their damn job. Yeah, you all have a nice weekend.
All righty then. On the one hand, you're saying do your job. The people say they're investigating and their investigations continue, which is doing their job. But because it ain't happening fast enough for you, you saying they ain't doing their job. Make it make sense. So, yeah, I can't speak to that. I don't know what their investigations are entailing. The man was questioned and released. That's not to say he can't be picked up again if their investigations conclude that they have strong enough evidence to charge him with something. But I can't tell the people how long the investigation should take place. I mean, either you want them to do their job or you don't. You can't on the one hand say, y'all taking too long to do your job. And on the other side, no, man, come on, man. The people say it's still an investigation. Let us allow the investigation to take its course. And again, I ain't saying it happened, and I ain't saying it ain't happened. Okay? So don't read this the wrong way. Don't say Michelle Malcolm siding with Cornish, because that's not what I'm saying here today. I'm just saying let the investigation take its course. And hopefully at the end of the day, justice will be served one way or the other. But it ain't, you can't, you don't determine how long the investigation takes place. How you could determine that? Anyway, let's go back to some of your statements. So Stanley is saying I live in Acklands, and the guy who has the contract for the boat service is the owner of the only gas station on the island. Okay. Al says to avoid paternity fraud, courts have to strictly enforce child support payments and enforce penalties for violators. Okay. And Miko is saying corruption is overwhelming everything. All right. Yeah, I agree with one of the callers who said that we just need to see how this is all going to work, because it's very, very embryonic right now. The ruling was just handed down. And so we are all waiting with bated breath to see how this is going to be handled. Will it be retroactive? Will there be a burden of proof on the father or the child to show that, in fact, there is a biological tie between the child and their Bahamian father, so that avoids the possible corruption of somebody signing for a child who's really not their biological child? So there's a lot of questions that we still have to answer or have answered. And again, right now it's a guessing game because this is all just fresh and new, just happened. The ruling just came down. So we have to give it some time to see how they're gonna play this out. Is that a caller? No. Okay. So meanwhile, female activists agree with the ruling. They're saying it's about time that this ruling happened, or this interpretation is brought to the forefront. So they are in agreement with the ruling, but they just asking the question, okay, you don't took care of them. Now what about us?
A number of female rights activists expressing their full support for the landmark decision upheld by the Privy Council today that children born out of wedlock to Bahamian men are entitled to Bahamian citizenship, regardless of the mother's nationality. Human rights activist and attorney Marion Bethel says that while she is happy for the Privy Council's ruling, it brings light to a much larger issue.
There is still the outstanding issue of Bahamian women who are married to non-Bahamian men, and their children are born outside of the Bahamas. That has to be addressed, and addressed immediately. This has been a really egregious breach of a Bahamian woman's rights. And so if we're talking about equal citizenship rights for everybody, that has to be addressed now, and it's been long overdue.
President of Rise Bahamas, Terneil Burrows, supports the right for unwed Bahamian men to pass on their citizenship, but decries the manner in which it happened.
Rise Bahamas looks forward to seeing equal citizenship rights for all children, regardless of their parents being married or not. It's a shame that the government didn't pass this law and had to go as far as the Privy Council in the United Kingdom to come into effect. We should have leaders that act in the best interest of the people and shouldn't have had to take it to a foreign body that once enslaved us, by the way, to demand this kind of justice for children born to unwed Bahamian fathers.
Director of Equality Bahamas, Alicia Wallace, pushing for the government to take a firm stance on equal rights for citizenship laws for both men and women.
Not do what it has done all this time with so many other issues, including marital rape, where it creates a debate where we are talking about an issue of rights. Just take a firm position, understand and be clear about its obligations and commitments that it is very clear on in international spaces, just like it was clear on it at the Universal Periodic Review on May 3rd in Geneva. It needs to be clear here in the Bahamas, saying to the Bahamian people, this is something that we know we need to do. We care about this, we are committed to this, and we are going to take this action. These are the amendments that we're going to make to legislation so that people have access to citizenship. There isn't an issue of statelessness, and we're not limiting where Bahamian women are able to live regardless of who they marry or where they give birth.
All right. So let's see what the powers that be do as it relates to equaling the playing field for all concerned to pass on their citizenship to their children. Bahamians I'm talking about. Because, Shawnee Miller-Weibo and her husband just had their first child, baby boy, and with the genes running through his body, both an athletic mother and father. That's a future Olympian right there. But under our existing law, he can't compete for the Bahamas because her husband happens to be non-Bahamian. How's that right? Anyway, music playing. We're gonna switch topics on the other side of the break. Yeah, this one. Anyway, I ain't give y'all no heads up. Y'all just could find out where I want to go next after this. Stay with us.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Michelle Malcolm in your company. The numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line is 801-0271, 801-0271. You can call or text us on that line. We're streaming live on Facebook, on the official Facebook pages of the station Global 99.5 FM, as well as my official page. Like and share the show if you haven't already done so. And we're also streaming live on YouTube, airing on Cable Bahamas Channel 974. Okay, so let's switch topics. Today is the 5th of May, yeah? So on May 1st, a statement was released by the Biden-Harris administration that it will end COVID-19 vaccination requirements for federal employees, contractors, international travelers, Head Start educators, and CMS-certified facilities. It goes on to explain that in 2021, the Biden-Harris administration announced COVID vaccination requirements to promote the health and safety of individuals and the efficiency of workplaces, protecting vital sectors of the economy and vulnerable populations. Since January 2021, COVID-19 deaths have declined by 95%. Hospitalizations are down by nearly 91%. Globally, COVID-19 deaths are at their lowest levels since the start of the pandemic, following a whole-of-government effort that led to a record number of nearly 270 million Americans receiving at least one shot of the COVID-19 vaccine. We are in a different phase of our response to COVID-19 than we were when many of these requirements were put into place. Today, we are announcing that the administration will end the COVID-19 vaccination requirements for federal employees, federal contractors, international air travelers at the end of the day, May 11th, the same day that the COVID-19 public health emergency ends. Okay. Additionally, HHS and DHS announced today, this is May 1, that they will start the process to end their vaccination requirements for Head Start educators, CMS certified healthcare facilities, and certain non-citizens at the land border. In the coming days, further details related to ending these requirements will be provided. That was on May 1st. Now we see where the WHO is declaring an end to COVID global health emergency. The World Health Organization first issued the emergency declaration in January of 2020. And today, on May 5th, they are announcing that COVID is no longer a global public health emergency. The World Health Organization said on Friday. The World Health Organization issued the declaration more than 3 years ago on January 30th, 2020. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last name, said he made the decision following a recommendation from the WHO's Emergency Committee, which met on Thursday for the 15th time. And Tedros said he's accepted that advice. It is therefore with great hope that he declares COVID-19 over as a global health emergency. The WHO's designation of a public health emergency of international concern is reserved for the most serious disease outbreaks. The organization has assigned the label to 7 outbreaks since 2007, and it goes on to name those 7 outbreaks. Globally, COVID deaths have fallen steadily over the last 3 months, from more than 41,000 weekly deaths at the start of January to around 3,500 on April 24th, according to the WHO data. For more than a year, the pandemic has been on a downward trend, with population immunity increasing from vaccination and infection, mortality decreasing, and the pressure on health systems easing. And this trend has allowed most countries to return to life as we knew it before COVID-19, Tedros said on Friday. Okay. What do I have to say with regard to this? Patient man ride donkey. There were many people who stood against the wave of pressure that was put on them to be injected. These people were demonized, ostracized, treated like outcasts, lost jobs. I mean, you name it. And we all know of the pressure that was put on people to be injected. In some countries, they went beyond just pressuring people to bribing people to be injected. Children especially. I remember bringing news about children being bribed with ice cream in a particular country in the West to take the injection without parental consent. And people who decided to stand against that pressure were treated like outcasts, were called everything but a child of God, treasonous, enemy of the state, made your life a living hell. It wasn't just the travel restrictions, but again, people lost their livelihoods. Initially, they said that you had to take this injection to protect the rest of the population, and that once you were injected, then you wouldn't be able to contract or pass on. Well, that turned out not to be true. And they kept moving the goalposts because much of what they said with relation to this turned out not to be correct. So here we are now. Now the WHO says it's over. Where they're now lifting all of these restrictions that were put on people who decided not to follow the crowd. And meanwhile, we have a lot of people, whether the authorities want to admit it or not, who are suffering from adverse effects of taking those injections. Now, that's a taboo subject. You ain't supposed to talk about it. You're supposed to stick your head in the sand and pretend it's not happening. You ain't supposed to talk about the sudden adult death syndrome. You're not supposed to touch that. We're supposed to pretend that we don't see people getting sick all around us from adverse reactions. And I feel for people who decided to give in to that pressure because it was immense pressure, and who are now going through some kind of challenge as a result of that decision. Because guess what? You don't have any recourse. Because now they're saying, but it was never mandatory. This is the argument now. We never said it was mandatory. So if you're experiencing some kind of adverse reaction, well, we feel bad about it, but we never made you do it. You did that on your own volition. You made that decision. We just, strongly suggested. But we never made you take the shot. So now you have no recourse. And here you are, now facing an uncertain future, because they still don't know what the long-term effects are going to be. Pearline is saying people wanted to keep their jobs, so many people took it. Yeah, I get it. But if you are one of those people who took it to save your job and you are now experiencing an adverse reaction, what is your boss doing for you? What is your boss doing for you? Is your boss going to pay for any medical situation you may have going forward? And I say may have because we really don't know, because this was a huge experiment on the human population. And for those of you who want to be touchy, you could afford to be touchy, but if something was never done before and they use humans to do it on, that's an experiment. That is the definition of an experiment. So you could afford to say, Michelle, you being irresponsible for calling this an experiment. It was an experiment. Because admittedly, they use technology that had never been used before in this manner, and they don't know what the long-term implications will be. That's what you call an experiment. Now, they finding all kind of strange things happening. Finding spike protein and all kind of places they didn't expect it to be. Finding issues with people's blood. People having challenges now, and they suspect could have challenges going forward with infertility. Finding spike protein in placenta. But we ain't supposed to talk about this. So, does anybody take responsibility for any of this? Does your boss who told you either take this or lose your job, are they going to help you pay any future medical bills should that become a reality for you? Or are we going to continue to pretend? Because, you know, the world in 2023, this is a pretend world. This is a pretend world. Truth is reality, and reality is, you know, truth is pretend, not reality. So, you know, are we going to not talk about this? Are we going to continue to pretend that this doesn't have the potential to create long-term fallout? I know of at least one case. Healthy young man, and I'm not going to call the name out of respect for the family. Healthy young man. Nothing was wrong with this young man before. Teenager. Took that shot and ended up in the hospital with a life-threatening condition. And is still on a long road to recovery right now. With so many unanswered questions. And you still have some people walking around in denial, refusing to acknowledge what they see happening all around them. Because I guess it's easier for your psyche to not face it. It's like somebody who goes through a traumatic experience and they shut it out of their mind because it's too hard to face. So as opposed to face that trauma, they just block it out. It didn't happen. So is that what we're doing here? Are we not going to have this conversation? Is no one going to take responsibility for this? Are we going to pretend that people who took the injection and all of the required injections still ended up hospitalized and in many cases dead? In spite of everything they told us at the beginning? That couldn't happen? Just take the injection, take the injection. Are we not going to address this? because I was one of the people who was vilified for speaking out against it. And now here we are. And now the WHO is saying that because of the number of people who took the injection, plus those who were infected, we now have sufficient immunity. So if the only way that you could have overcome this was with that injection, how then now is the WHO saying that people who became infected also contributed to us being where we are today, where the pandemic is now, according to them, officially over? Are we not going to talk about this? We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GBS.
Yes, good afternoon. Caller go 34.
Hi.
Oh, hi. All that you said, and then to put the icing on the cake, the doctor who developed the technology comes to warn the public about it, and they tried to silence it.
Yep, they tried to destroy his career. And I do know him, Dr. Robert Malone, because he's been a guest on my show before in another place.
Wow.
Okay? So,
everyone with credibility should be him. He's the one who developed it.
Exactly. And he's not the only one who spoke out against it. Other well-respected professionals like Dr. Gerd van den Bosch, who is a virologist who worked for companies that created vaccines, also spoke out against it vehemently and was also vilified. And they're not the only two.
Yeah. That's why I thank you all for people like you, because you're the one who's going to go, I wouldn't say go against, but you know how the media operates. They're not doing it. They're not doing what you're doing. They're silent as a lamb.
I find it very interesting that the announcement by the Biden administration that these restrictions were lifted, I had to, when somebody sent me that information, I had to go Google to see if it was true, because I don't remember seeing that in any mainstream media.
That's something, eh?
I say, hold on now, is this for real? So I went Google and I found articles appeared in, I think it was the New York Times or the Washington Post, one of them. So I found a couple of little articles in some newspapers, but even locally, I didn't see anybody reporting on that.
That says a lot right there.
Huh?
That says a lot right there.
That speaks a lot. Yeah. So are we going to not talk about this? Are we going to continue to pretend that the last 3 years didn't happen?
And the sad thing about it, the health area of the Bahamas, I'll put it that way. What are they saying?
Well,
what are they, the ones who are supposed to be protected?
Until very recently, they were still pushing the injection.
Exactly. So I look on Sadness and I see it. I was like, what?
That only stopped very recently.
My.
They were still pushing that injection on people.
And the other doctors, you know who I'm talking about, who are keeping silent. That troubles me also.
Well, during the whole situation, a couple of them reached out to me and privately said to me, Michelle, thank you for what you're doing. One doctor actually said to me, you don't understand what you're doing. You're literally saving lives. But they were put under so much pressure. They were threatened that they would lose their licenses, or they would be severely discredited or isolated to the degree that they couldn't really have a healthy practice anymore. So many of them, just didn't think it was, I guess, worth it to risk their whole practice to tell the truth.
Wow.
I mean, you hear Dr. Kevin Bethel out of Grand Bahama. He's a part of Optimus Bahamas. He actually said that when he realized what was happening and brought it to the attention, they said to him, we don't want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I heard that.
He said that.
And I know the doctor very well too.
He was one of the few that decided to stand up against this.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to keep pretending.
Well, thank you. My phone's about to die. You have
Thanks for calling.
great weekend.
We have another caller. Caller, welcome to GPS. Caller.
Michelle?
Yes.
Michelle, thank you very much for talking about this. Because like you say, we are like ostrich. Our head is in the sand.
Deep, deep, deep.
They are so wrong, and these leaders, our prime ministers, I wonder if they really took this vaccination that they were pushing on the people. Because if it was something that was needed for health, why do we have to have a lottery in some states? They were doing it.
Well, they put all kind of pressure on people. All kind of pressure on people. All kind of pressure. All kind of bribes.
And no one is coming to the forefront to say it was an experiment.
No, they ain't gonna say that. Megan never say that.
Only the flu.
Well, I wouldn't say it was only the flu. I personally believe, I'm one of the people who believes that this was manipulated in a lab. And listen, I am not by any means trying to diminish the fact that particular strains of this virus were very, very, very dangerous and killed millions of people. Delta was no flu. Delta was a beast. I'm not denying that. I'm not in any way trying to diminish the lives of the people who died as a result of COVID. COVID was very real. Okay? And like I said, some strains were not as dangerous as others. Omicron, for instance, that pretty much was very close to a flu. But Delta was not. Delta was a beast. So I'm not trying to minimize that in any way. But my point has always been that if you spend as much effort trying to get your people healthy as you are in pushing this thing, and stop pushing it with information that turned out not to be true. Many of the people who died as a result of this already had other health challenges.
Yeah.
4 and 5 different comorbidities. In other words, they were already on the edge. COVID came and pushed them over the edge.
But Michelle, look at the pharmaceutical companies that made billions, billions
Okay then.
of dollars.
Okay. We ain't supposed to talk about that. You bring up things we ain't supposed to talk about. We ain't supposed to talk about the money what the pharmaceutical companies make. And guess what?
They're living very well.
Guess what? They now saying that because there was so much hesitancy, that going forward, what was a free shot would cost like $120 thereabouts per dose, because they got to find a way to make the money what they promised to their shareholders that they didn't make because there was so much hesitancy. Okay then.
My God.
You go figure that out.
I don't know how they sleep at night.
Oh, very well. They ain't got no problem sleeping at night, because the chances are they sleeping on all the money what they make. I sure they sleeping soft.
I'm enjoying it to see at the expense of others.
Oh. Help me to understand this. If somebody get up and say, and you know what, I might even get kick off of YouTube, but it is what it is. Because I think I done got 2 strikes against me, and if they decide to kick me off for this, that'll be strike number 3, and I'll be gone. Whatever. But help me make this make sense. The people who get up and say we need to reduce the population of the world, we have them on tape, on record saying this. Too many people walking around here breathing. We need to reduce the size of the population of the world. You gonna trust them?
They won't be God.
Because my thing is this. If too much people walking around here breathing, why you don't go commit suicide? Why not apply to everybody but you? since you're so worried about population control around the world. But why would I trust somebody who telling you it's too much of you around here breathing with something to put in my body when you admit you don't know what the long-term implications could be? Why would I trust you? You don't tell me what your agenda is. But I ain't supposed to talk with this.
But you know, Michelle, I think our leaders now, they need to explain to the Bahamian people now. It's time for them to come forth.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, I might just die.
Oh, don't hold your breath. Don't wait for that.
Enjoy your weekend, Michelle.
Thanks. You too. Gotta go. It's only 3:40. Gotta get out of here. But yeah, y'all, we're supposed to talk about that. But I leave y'all with this. Patient man ride donkey. As of the 11th, you could travel again. Well, by doggone. Anyhow, listen, y'all. Y'all have a good weekend, yeah? God bless y'all. And if you take that shot and you're having some kind of adverse reaction, go on my Facebook page, fill out that health evaluation. I can see if I can help you out a little bit. I know if we could, but you know, y'all gonna need help. Time gone. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be safe, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next week.
Global 99.5 FM.